What the fuck is up, you beautiful people of Mexico?
Oh,
How
it's
we
too
doing?
hot.
Molly just burned his mouth because
Hey, doing great, man. Thanks for having me on Crypto Coffee. Appreciate you.
I'm doing awful. I'm going through withdrawals after not having Richard Hart stream for almost 24 hours now.
Getting itchy.
I mean, how
Yeah,
great
just-
was that? You know,
It was
just
amazing.
incredible. Honestly,
One of
legendary.
his best streams yet, dude.
Well,
Yeah,
it's funny, right? Like, it wasn't even like, in terms of like some of the stuff that we got there, it wasn't like an amazing stream, but it's just all the stuff and like the direction that Hex is going. That's just so exciting. And then special guests that were in the chats, and just there's a lot to kind of unpack.
yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about all of it. You know, we're gonna give you guys what you need, which is basically just a Richard Hart recap and all of our amazing thoughts about it. What's up, Hex Mac? What's up, Chris? What's up, Cabana? Escatar? Good to see all you guys, the
A-Bit.
regulars.
Chilling.
A-Bit.
A-Bit, where in the
A-Bit.
world are you now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
I heard
just
you bought
left Acapulco not too long ago, right?
Yeah, I heard his Airbnb wasn't so good over there. Sorry about that.
It was like what was it, like a higher end Airbnb. Like it looked like they put like a bunch of knickknacks to kind of try to make it look nicer, but not really.
Yeah, they tried to go with the super host, but they didn't earn it.
Hmm.
But yeah, guys, Hex, man, we're always pushing the boundaries. We're always innovating. Hex is literally probably going to continue to be an example for other DeFi projects that are that might want to consider doing the same thing, because taking Hex to its own chain is really the move. I mean, the one thing I think I agreed with most that Richard had to say was that like L2 is not the way for. I mean, it's not really what he said, but it's like, think about L2. Yeah, everyone's getting all pumped up about optimism and ZK rollups, and that's great. But at the end of the day, you have to switch on and off to these things. You have to bridge to these things. And if you want to, go swap on QuickSwap and then go stake back on L1, you're going to get charged $30, an arm and a leg. And if you really want it to be for the people, like how crypto is supposed to be, you need to be doing all this stuff on L1. And you need to have the whole ecosystem on that. So I think L2 has got a lot of really cool improvements that are going to get absorbed into Hex. And one day Hex will go, scalable L1 with sharding and ETH 2.0. But in the meantime, why not try to build a better one, or at least a side chain? Because we should all be on, version or L1 if we can, because it's kind of a UX nightmare. Crypto's hard enough already. I don't see how we're going to get people in and have to explain then L2 and L1. I mean, that was my take on it.
Instead, just fork ETH, come up with some cool tools that evidently he's already got in mind, or sounds like he's got it solved. You're in the dev chat, right?
Yep.
Is there any chatter going on about that, or is he got he's probably got another room as well with some of the devs that he's working with, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what ends up happening with these things is really it's a couple of devs, like a very core group of probably no more than 5 or 6 that end up doing all the work, and really kind of just like 2 or 3 that do all the work, and the other couple are just there for conversation. But all the really good technical kind of strategic conversations are probably happening behind the scenes, but you can get a glimpse of it in the dev channel, and it's people are talking about like really, really interesting questions that need to happen, like what about Ethermint and all of these Cosmos and these kind of build your own blockchain, blockchain as a service solutions, right? There's people out there that are building that basically have today these services that you can just spin up a blockchain and change some parameters on it and be interoperable with any EVM compatible system. So right. I think, and that's what you want. You want to be EVM compatible because you don't want to be totally isolated from. You don't want to have your own blockchain and then nobody can connect to you. Like you got to do some hack to go connect.
And that's why he was kind of optimistic on the time. Like he's not starting from like the grassroots, like from nothing, like he did with Hex. So like there's a little bit more plug and play features, and he wants to be I know he was like hesitant to give us a time frame, but he did give us a time frame and gave us 6 months is optimistically what he'd like everything to go down. But so that probably means at least a year.
Well, yeah. He also said on Ethereum, to Coffee's point earlier and Motley's point, that like things are kind of getting a little bit pricey and a little bit ridiculous with he said I think in a month they're gonna like raise the S load from like 800 to like 2400 or something like that, and that it would affect the compiled bytecode, it really just does go to show you that, hey man, like right now we've got the problem of like high fees and whatnot, and sure you've got layer 2, but that's not really like a scaling solution in a bull market for a whole bunch of millions more of people. So I think that the hard fork and then having Hex being on its own chain will actually allow Hex to like stand out from even the rest of the cryptos. It'll be completely decorrelated.
Yeah, I mean it already is. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, Richard's not waiting, right? Like he mentioned that in his stream as well. Like, yes, we're in the bull market. Yes, we have top indicators, but like this cycle's different. We have these big investors like Tesla and MicroStrategies and everyone just kind of coming in. But at the same time, he's not going to wait. He's not going to wait in the bull market. He's not going to wait for the bear market. He's going to continue to build. If you're always building, then it's kind of hard to lose.
That's something that I heard from some guy named was Adi something on Twitter. He said the exact same thing. It's like you either it's going to move to this market where you're going to have to be really precise with what you pick to invest in now. It's not just going to be shotgun approach, go invest in a basket of things and 10 of them are going to, skyrocket. It's going to really start to differentiate where, only a couple of products are going to do well. And the only people that are going to win are either going to have to research into those products hardcore because things are moving much slower and it does take much more economic mass to move these things up, or just build yourself. And so if you're in the product that's building and expanding and actually active and trying to solve problems that directly relate to adoption, you're going to be in the right place because that's what we're doing. Hex is focused on adoption and getting people to invest in it. Whereas a lot of these DeFi things are so complex and they don't even seem to be trying to explain marketing and how to reach out and get more users. So it kind of just is a big circle jerk with a bunch of really smart people that have a lot of money.
Their promises are complex. The substance, not so much.
Yeah. Well, it's like even try explaining it like what these things do. A lot of the time it's, I don't know. There's a difference between like developers and marketers.
They're full of shit because you can go on their synopsis and read what they're trying to do. And everyone has the same fucking trigger words that like go in a circle that loop around and don't actually mean anything. And every time it's like they copy and paste it from each other. And it's just the same old thing. And there's no actual substance to it whatsoever.
Oh, there's very little innovation happening. I mean, even QuickSwap is a fork of Uniswap. And the innovation there is that it's on a separate sidechain.
Right.
But a lot of these things, yeah. And so the only real innovations that are happening are Optimism and ZK rollups. But that itself, I mean, Richard said it's going to cost you $100 if you want to create a ZK Sync wallet today because you have these transfer fees to get in and out. So that's a UX nightmare. That doesn't really solve anything. I mean, that might give you 100x throughput, but at the cost of what? A giant hurdle to the experience.
It destroys onboarding. Like Silver brought up the point. Like you're kind of fucked both ways. We don't have enough liquidity to bring on the big guys, and I don't think we're ready yet either. We're still small, organically growing, and then we can't bring on the smaller guys that we need to get that natural growth because when they're coming in with $100-$200 and they have to eat a third, a fourth of their stack on just gas fees alone, it's not practical, and then they're not going to see those returns based off how X operates a year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years out. It's not appealing to the new guys coming on. With those fees just kill the entire adoption process.
Yeah.
No matter how economical like Hex was designed, Staker's designed when it comes to gas.
Yeah, and he was saying too. I mean, Hex does have a lot of gas optimizations already. It's got bitwise shifts, and it uses a lot of the same optimizations that Uniswap does as well. But when Uniswap v3 comes out, and when these Ethereum EIPs come out, they're only going to benefit certain projects, right? So like swapping might be a little bit cheaper, but any kind of other DeFi thing that has to do a lot of computation, like Hex for the end stakes, you're still going to run into those issues, right? So these EIPs are only partial fixes. These Optimism rollups, these are basically like double-edged swords. So you take one thing and you get another, but you have to gain throughput at the expense of usability. So, I mean, why not just make your own chain? I think it's a great idea. I think it might take a while. I have no idea how long it's going to take.
6 months. That's it. It's not gonna be like Hex. It's not gonna be like another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. It's just 6 months and done.
But you know what, guys? At the end of the day, you know, I hate to say it too, but it's like everybody kind of just wants that hype news event too. And so it's going to bring attention in the very, very short term back to Hex in terms of like, hey, we're building some shit. Not we, but Richard's building some shit. You can actually talk about it, which is nice because it's not Hex related anymore. So it's not like promises of future work in Hex. It's like, oh, I'm just basically building another blockchain project, and I'll let you know when it's done.
And that's what garners you eyeballs, because so like, as you guys probably know, Lex Friedman was in the chat. His verified YouTube account was in the chat, talking to Hexicans, talking to Richard. He's trying to set up an interview with him, offered to fly Richard to the States, which he didn't want any part of. But that was what Lex Friedman was looking into, because he was trying to learn about Bitcoin. It doesn't seem like he's too familiar with the crypto space. And if you guys had been following him, some of his tweets were like, he wants to know what's innovative in the space right now, what's on the cutting edge of the crypto space. And it really is Hex. Everything that Hex is and that's built around Hex is literally the cutting edge. Steph and Firebun are working on the latest stuff with Genosis safes and doing all kinds of different stuff. Even Hex Bay, kind of controversial first, but encapsulated stakes, being able to actually sell and transfer these stakes down the road. Hex is just literally doing stuff that no one's doing or didn't think was possible to do, or just hasn't been able to accomplish, or maybe they just don't even try. But we're on that edge. And whereas the crypto space, a lot of the bitter people that just want to protect their own bags, essentially pump their own bags, you know, they want to just yell scam, 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 because they're threatened. They probably see the writing on the walls, whether they want to admit it or not. Whereas you start reaching out to the outside world, where you get into some really intelligent individuals like Lex Friedman that works in AI, that works in computer science. They see Hex and the innovations and Richard for what it is and who he is. A very smart individual that's building something that's potentially truly revolutionary, not only in the crypto space, but traditional finance and potentially the world.
Yeah, it's massively disruptive.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's the network effect too. I mean, the guy Lex has 1 million followers, and he's also like been on other channels a lot, like Joe Rogan. And yeah, with like the Harry guy, the Jane King, and then hopefully soon we have the Lex Friedman. That's just going to like spike this network effect and like future mass adoption of Hex even more, because it really is. You know, Biffines says like the product is too good and it sells itself. It really does. People just need to hear about it, and people just need to be educated, because there is so much misinformation and gatekeeping that you need to just educate them.
Yeah, it does sell itself. You just got to bring the horse to water, right? And it's like, you know, to talk about the few haters that are still out there, they're just really hoping that Hex goes away so that they can say, hey, I told you so. And the more and more Hex survives and increases in price, like astronomically, the more filthy fucking rich everyone's getting, it's harder and harder to ignore. And like, they're just eventually going to be so wrong that it's like, you know, they're going to buy in and pretend they liked Hex the whole time.
Yep.
You know,
they're getting quieter too.
And we'll have we'll have all their tweets, all their video footage backed up, because Hexicans are like that, and it's not going to be a good day for them.
Yeah,
Isn't that right, Johnny? I'm sure Johnny's got some on his on his hard drive.
Oh yeah, I feel like Johnny's got just like underground library full of hater footage.
Between him and Hexa, we could probably bury any crypto influencer.
Yeah, but I mean, the Lex thing is good, guys. I wouldn't get super excited for it like soon because of the whole you know situation with the pandemic. But just the fact that you know somebody took notice and you know promised an interview, whenever that happens, great. But being part of that, you know, Richard calls it the intellectual dark web. That's what it is, right?
It's a big inner circle.
Yeah, it's a network of people that really is kind of like the alternative to the mainstream media these days, where you can get a more objective opinion. But it, you know, it is a circle of people, but it's a circle of people dedicated to the truth and just trying to be objective and be skeptical and ask questions, but not pick sides, right? So I can almost guarantee Lex would give a very fair and objective overview. Mm-hmm. And if he does, you know, other people see that and it's like, oh, that guy's, you know, that guy thinks for me. You know, I let Lex think for me, so maybe Richard's not that bad. But, you know, a lot of people turn to these people. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
the people don't know how to think for themselves, and
Yeah.
you know, they want to pick their idol, right? So again, be careful of picking an idol. But I think Hexicans all had to think for themselves because we had to go through these rites of passage of, you know, okay, like what about this OA? Everyone's telling me the OA is bad, and they had to like come to terms with like, wait a second, why might this actually be good? Or like, you know, all these other coins out there, like, you know, oh man, I'm getting shiny object syndrome. I want to go chase after cream finance, right?
Yeah.
And they have to hold up and think a little bit, you know, does this even have audits? Do I even know what I'm talking about? Or am I just following a shiller on YouTube? So to even get this far, I think we're all in this crazy organic network effect that it's unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, we are this weird community that is totally organic, but that by growing organically, I think you get a stronger quality of growth over time rather than like paying, for example, like the idea of paying for an influencer shout out, it always seems like you're throwing money down the drain to me. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
And it also just seems like, you remember like the copycats paid some poor like guy to to shill his coin and then just, you know, got annihilated. He's not talking about that anymore. He doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
You move on.
Well, Hex has so many like real world people like in legitimate testimonials that aren't bought and paid for. Like it's super easy to see when like, you know, someone's just kind of going through the motion, they kind of just in it for the advertisement money, or like the people that are like, hey, we actually kind of see what's going on in this corner and we can see the product is solid and 100% uptime. Like where else do you get that?
Yeah, and I think that's why that it caused such a big riff and people, everyone loved it, right? Because we're finally getting that vindication of being noticed for what we are, which is a great product, and not having to pay anybody to do it or not having to shout and yell at people to stop calling us scammers because everyone out there is just kind of a dick. In a year's time from now, it'll kind of go out of fashion to call Hex a scam. And I think the new people calling Hex a scam in 2025 or 2024 are going to be the mainstream. They're going to be like the mainstream traditional finance bros, you know?
Hex sitting at $10. Oh, they're doing it now. I have my friends that are traditional financial advisors telling me like, bro, be careful. Like, because they see my posts on my personal media stuff and then I'll have them hit me up personally and they're like, bro, be careful. And like, it gets to a point where I just want to be a dick and just be like, bro, like I've made like 10 times your annual salary, like off like a nothing investment, like relax. And it just gets to that point, but obviously I refrain. But no, just to backtrack a little bit, I'm a little bit more bullish on the Lex Friedman interview happening sooner because I kind of like Richard's pivot he did right towards the end of the stream where he offered Lex. He's like, look, I counter you're willing to fly me out, but he's like, I'll fly you out and I'll give you $20,000 for the charity of your choice. So that was a nice pivot on Richard's part to try to get Lex to come out to him.
Did he do that on his feet? I thought he was that in direct response? Was that in direct response to Lex?
That was towards the end of the stream. I don't know if Lex had left the chats by then, but if he was still watching, Richard put that out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'll give you 20 grand to your charity of your choice if you just come out to me. And obviously he'd host them and put them up as well.
It was on the live stream, and then I believe Cookie Boys clipped it and then
awesome.
responded to Lex as well. So even if he didn't see it in the chat because he was there, you know, maybe he'll see it later. So
what a great community! Just in case you miss it, here it is. Franklin had a question. Can you guys talk about selling Hex? A lot of people believe that it won't have enough economic energy to sell in a few years unless there's adoption. What are your thoughts?
There won't be enough economic energy to sell. You could always sell Hex.
I think he's essentially saying like if the stakes accrue, if they grow as much as they're going to, that there's not going to be enough financial or economic mass in the system to essentially pay the stakes out once they come to fruition, is my guess.
I mean, that's going to be a problem that can be adjusted, right? Like you can increase the liquidity and decrease the liquidity as
and
time
that's
goes
also
on.
Reflected in the price too. Like without price going up, like you're not going to get adoption. And I mean, at the end of the day, if we don't get adoption, then that's it. Like as great as Hex is and the community is, if you don't gain adoption, it's a wrap.
But I think the liquidity is there to respond to price increases. It's a lagging thing. It's not leading, right? Like you don't get adoption by having more liquidity, as we've seen with a certain project or two that claim that more liquidity is always good. You want to have it proportional to the amount of demand in the system. So you don't just want to come out there with a giant ocean full of water if people are just dropping little test tubes in it, right? You want to have a bucket so that it's relatively, proportional to the size of the market that you're in. Which is why, at the price of Hex right now, it's kind of the ideal market for the new guy, because you can easily sell 50 grand, 100 grand. You can sell these amounts that are that make sense for the average retail investor, right? Obviously, this is not enough liquidity for institutional money to flow into yet, but if you don't think that's being worked on or being thought about, I mean, it's not an oversight, in my opinion. No, it can be notched up.
And people just forget what's because Hex has already grown so fast, so quickly. People forget that we're still at the very early stages. Like this is the time for the retail investors to come in, get their bags. And like Richard said on the stream again too last night, like he touched on so many freaking points, but like this is the time with this low liquidity, this volatility. This is where you see essentially you create wealth at this period of time. If you're getting Hex now, even at this penny mark, penny plus, like we're going to see this years down the road where like 5 years, 10 years down the road, we're like, why the hell did I not buy Hex at a penny? Like all the OGs are going to be like kicking themselves. They're like, well, I had a big enough bag or I had whatever. Next thing we know, Hex is at $30, $40, $50. Like, man, if I just bought Hex and bought just a little bit more at a penny, I could have 2 golden yachts right now.
And Johnny made a great point that OTC right now will cover large investors. I believe there is an OTC platform, hexotc.win. Well, there was an old one.
Not many people use it, but I know Richard was talking about actually working on the OTC side. Unless Grayscale wants to offer a Hex option.
As far as that goes, it's not like to that question like, oh, is there going to be liquidity there and things like that for me to end the stakes in the future? It's not like everyone in the system is like ending their stakes at once. It is kind of dynamic with the Hex.vision where you can see, okay, there might be little bits of price impact here, but then there also might be people that we've seen, and even I myself have done, where, hey, now we're restaking it because we see the value in it. And anyways, I think, that it is kind of reflexive, and that with the liquidity, to your point, it is kind of like a lagging indicator, but I think that there will be, for people that want to sell, I think there'll be enough. Maybe you just have to iterate it in a couple different cells or multiple cells depending on the time.
Yeah, and as we've seen, even when people are giant whales, almost Poseidons, in fact, they know they can't sell against themselves, right? They know they can't drive the price up 99% down or 66% down, so they restake and they hold it liquid because they have like this vision of what can come, and that's what Motley was saying. You always have to keep in mind. The Bitcoin parallel, the Bitcoin analogy is a great one, because you think about, think about how bad you wish you could have bought Bitcoin at $1. Think about how bad, like you really, really wish you could have done that. And you think you missed out, right? So Hex is a better Bitcoin built on Ethereum with more like better design principles, better security, better throughput, better anonymity, better community for now. Maybe, 10 years from now, maybe the Hex community devolves a little bit as it matures. I think communities do tend to degrade over time, but this is like the golden era of Hex right now. This is the stuff that we're going to look back on and be like, holy shit, guys, can you believe we were buying Hex at a penny and talking about, moving over to its own blockchain, and, HexNet will be like Skynet, and it'll just be like an artificial intelligence. It just pays everyone's bills for them and nobody has to work ever again. But
who knows? Maybe we'll still be around. I mean, like, again, there's just nothing out there that exists like Hex that literally keeps you honest to your word for 15 years. Like, we're all stuck with each other. Luckily, we mostly all like each other. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see each other for the next 15 years and onward, because I know a lot of us are just continuing that ladder out as we go throughout the time, just continuing to grow T-shares.
We try to get along with each other as much as we can. Yeah. It's okay,
little spits every now and then.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. It's just like any relationship, it's never perfect, and that's that's the cool thing about Yeah, everything has its ups and downs, but that's the cool thing, Motley, when you mention about Hex kind of being like a truth engine. Personally, I think that's kind of like what really brought me into it is I could kind of feel and sense that Richard was, honest and ethical since like early 2017. And then when he actually developed Hex, I remember him talking a lot about like, still leaving meat on the bones and not too much ROI and profit for the early guys. So it is cool that it does hold people accountable to their words. If you lock up more money than you can afford to lose, and then you end up, emergency end staking it because you're getting emotional, well, the Hex Truth Engine is really going to check you there, and it's not going to reward you for not doing what you said you would.
Yeah.
Unless you use HexBay, you dirty Germans. No, just kidding.
I don't imagine HexBay is going to get a ton of adoption right off the bat, and that's mostly because of the gas fees and the complexity. People are going to take a while to learn about it, and those that do make max length stakes and try to sell them right away, they won't be able to sell those for years.
Yeah,
I mean, a couple days, and you know.
You still have to have the good behavior to a degree. I mean, you're still looking at 2, 3, maybe a 5-year investment before anyone's even willing to start considering your Quattro Cinco stakes. Just Hex has to be more established, and again, that kind of goes back to the point we were talking about earlier, where Hexicans are usually like they're intelligent. Most of the people in the community are very smart, and we've had to kind of go through the pros and cons of a lot of different things in space. And I know I'm pretty adamantly was opposed to HexBay, and like as time's gone on, like I've looked at all the different angles, and I think overall it'll continue to do what we're trying to do here, which is adoption. It appears to be that the guys have Hex's best interests, and still waiting on stuff, but you have to just look at everything analytically and weigh the pros and cons and look at what's going to be best for the community and Hex.
Well, Richard even mentioned it. Like, I don't know how much you guys kind of caught of it and kind of want to go into it, but the Grayscale like competitor type thing, where he was saying like you could encapsulate the Hex and
T-shares, not the Hex. You could actually trade shares, which is different and which is very cool.
Mm-hmm. That would be awesome. Cool. I mean, think about it. So it's decoupled from like if you're selling shares in Hex, if you're selling paper shares, that's decoupled from the actual Hex, right? So every time someone buys paper shares, those shares have to be at least already owned or existing, or then bought on the open market on behalf of the shareholders of the shares, which is fucking confusing because now you've got like, when it comes to Hex shares, you do have to forget everything you know about shares, right? Like it's not stock shares. Like we're talking about a different thing. So like a paper note, right? So more people that buy into this system, on the OTC markets or on the traditional boomer markets, as we like to call them. Just kidding. The IRA, 401ks, that's going to be just a new on ramp for people, and those have to be collateralized somehow.
Yeah, and it's also going to give us a huge leverage and leg up over entities like Grayscale, because they're not able to earn yield on their Bitcoin. Like that Bitcoin's not allowed to be like traded out, according to Richard when he was overlooking everything, all of Grayscale's legal documents. They're not earning yield, so they're strictly going off price appreciation. So we know crypto is going to go not only through a bear and bull market, but we go through extreme bull and bear markets. And so imagine when we go into a bear market and Bitcoin will dump, and it will dump hard. And all these investors, all they have to go off is price appreciation. Whereas something like HexScale or whatever they want to call it is created, and you can actually buy T-shares of Hex, and you can actually generate yield on a price appreciating asset. That's going to be huge. Yep. Something that Grayscale can't even touch. So if we end up building something like that before Grayscale either adopts us or we become their competitor, it's something that really stands us apart from everyone else.
Yeah, one thing that I didn't fully consider that I thought was a good point by Richard, he made the analogy to his car stereo business, right? Where he would people would come in thinking they wanted one thing, but really they wanted another. His way of saying it was a lot more long-winded. But what I think was a great idea on his part that I hadn't even considered would be, if there's a Grayscale competitor, get him in with the Bitcoin, get him in with the thing they're used to, and then say, hey, by the way, I've got something that's actually way better that you're probably looking for, which is
Yield.
ROI and yield,
Yeah.
right? So with Bitcoin, you're not getting yield. You're just getting the appreciation from the fact that it happens to be the highest appreciating asset ever, like, which is nice. But what happens when that kind of tapers off? We might get one or two good more cycles of exponential growth, and it becomes kind of the top of the S curve, right?
Yeah. It really is a safe haven too. I mean, Richard posted another comment and tweet today that so-and-so DeFi hacked. And it's like, man, if your money's not in something that's secure, you could have one of those things too.
Yeah, I get scared about that myself, because, I still hold Ethereum, Bitcoin, and I get tempted by these other things, but, I just keep coming back to Hex. It's the only thing that's ever really done well, that hasn't been full of false promises and false hope and everything like that. So, Johnny said Conrad Zen mentioned something about the Cronus Fund, which is kind of like a Grayscale fund. I don't know if they're working together on that. Does anybody have any more details on that?
I haven't looked too much into his Cronus Fund, but I know he's been part of that for a long time now. But they're essentially trying to do something with Hex. I don't know how far along in the process they are with it or not.
According to his last live stream, near the end of it, he did mention that he was trying to get approval to operate in Europe and in the United States, and that's kind of where they were. Conrad.
Richard? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't really. He's kind of a little quieter on YouTube, but I think he's still worth listening to, because sometimes he'll drop a bomb like that and be like, "Whoa, all right, I'm very curious about what's going on over there," Let's see, Daruku, it's way easier for Hex to 1000x than it is for BTC to 10x. That's just so
Agreed.
True. That's just
Simple
the math.
Yeah, it's just simple math. And that's the funny part I always like when people come in, especially no coiners and stuff, and they're initially drawn in by the bright light, the shining flame. It's just Bitcoin or Doge or something along those lines, and you just have to explain to them it's simple math of where Bitcoin is as where to something, a superior product of Bitcoin, something that earns you interest in addition to price appreciation. I think the community kind of deemed it called super compounding. So you have a super compounding product over here that's superior to Bitcoin every way, essentially just like everything else in technology and advancement and the OG. And you have so much more room for growth too, because it is so much more new. It hasn't been. You can look at Tesla buying 1.5 billion, and we barely see a tick in the price. I'm sure they dollar costed over time, but still very little price adjustment with 1.5 billion dollars.
Yeah, that's that wealthy attitude that we all have to kind of have, which the shiny object syndrome of the bull market has really gotten me looking around, and I really would be better off if I hadn't gotten distracted by things, I can honestly say that.
Fucking quick swap.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Got me bad. I mean, we could talk about it. Yeah.
We can.
I got wrecked
because I
on
think you and
QuickToker.
I both did.
Yeah. So I was, interested in it because, liquidity pool for Hex on a layer 1. And if anything, it was good learning that, layer 1 is so awesome. Like, cheap and free, fast and like instantaneous and free is the way to go. But then I ended up buying a bunch of QuickSwap tokens to get a liquidity pool going. QuickSwap crashed in half, 50% dip, and I lost money on the impermanent, quote unquote, permanent loss from the liquidity on Hex. So I lost about 50,000 Hex, and I lost about half my QuickSwap value. So now I'm stuck holding this bag of QuickSwap, not knowing if I give a fuck about trying to hold it back up again, not knowing about like if there's gonna be I think if there's going to be another leg up in this market, it might be the last leg up before a very, very significant downturn back to Bitcoin 30K. Not a bear market, but I think there might be a very big drop that will get everyone freaked out. Just enough. Double. Yeah, the double, exactly.
Yeah, and I was in the same situation with QuickSwap. So now I'm stuck with a bunch of these stupid QuickSwap tokens, and I'm literally just every day I stare at that shit. I'm just like, I just want to swap it back to Hex, but I don't want to eat the loss. And now, I have the opportunity cost that I'm missing out now because I have this stupid bag of coins that I never really cared about to begin with. I lost half of it just after the price dumped. I'm pretty sure you and I got in around the same time with the liquidity mining, and it's just so now I have this shit coin that I had no desire to be in. It doesn't help your mental state to watch it. You feel like a damn trader, and there's this perfect asset over here. It's like, do you just eat the costs and just go back into it and just let it be a learning lesson? Do you cross your fingers and hope price goes back up? It's a shitty situation to put yourself in.
I'm crossing my fingers, and I'm constantly reminded every day of why I don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah, why we don't do this shit.
Same. Motley, we talked about, and I think I first heard of it from Randy, but it was the peak of the gas fees, and layer 2, and you got the Matic and the quick swap, and long story short, I did the same thing too with like that ZKS, where it's like, it's got this airdrop and blah blah blah. And then I had the hindsight. Well, no, I was going to say I had the hindsight like maybe like a day or two before that was like, Brand, what the fuck are you doing? I'm degenerately, I'm being a degen, what they call the aping. Like, I'm not even in the altcoins much anymore. And they're like, I was aping into that. And so I had to check myself and realize, man, I for like the liquid stuff that I have, like I need to keep it in, and I chose to, but keep it in Hex, something that's like, legitimate, that's not going to have like these rapid dumps and things like that. Like Hex has shown its value over time and its consistency.
Yeah, you just have to look at what the motivation is for people to keep these coins anyways. Why would someone keep these ZKS swap tokens that were just given to us for one? So it was a cheap way for them to pump up the price of their token to get quick adoption, and then meanwhile just leave everyone with a bunch of bags. And I know Coffee and I discussed that because we still go and we check all this stuff out because it is interesting. We are trying to figure out these gas fees and trying to find out unique ways. So we're messing around with this stuff, and if you can make money at the same time, so be it. It's a good way to do it. And we were sitting there talking about, it's like, bro, are you going to dump your bag? Are you going to go for this airdrop? And like, we were going back and forth, and he's like, yo, I dumped it. And I was like, shit, I'm at work. And I had like a 2-hour window from work and the airdrop. And like, I got home and I was just like, okay, I got to get out. And, made a couple ETH on it. That was cool. Got out. And now I think ZK swaps are like maybe a fourth of what they used to be, if that.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's no motivation for people to hold these coins. They don't really do anything. There's no reason to hold them. It's just how it got stuck with these quick swap tokens. Guess what? When you provide people a liquidity pool to mine these tokens, and people have no value tied to them whatsoever, guess what they're going to do the moment they get their mining rewards? They're just going to dump it on the market. So it should have been obvious to us that, hey, if you're gonna decide to be a liquidity provider and you want to choose this as your bullshit token attached to Hex, might not be a good idea.
And now they're trying to pull out. They're trying to pull out all the old tricks in the book of what if we had staking to it, and what if we had governance to it? Like what if we had all these features?
What if it's a governance staking low gas fee token? Buzzword in there.
They're talking about like making liquidity rewards higher for people that hold the token, and it's like, shit, man. Like the liquidity rewards in the token are higher for holders of the token. So it's just like, that's all great until nobody cares about your platform anymore. And it's the flavor of the month. Now, I'm not saying QuickSwap is the flavor of the month. Like maybe it does gain traction, which is why I'm still holding my bag. But
thinking more we talk about, I'm thinking about jumping that right now and just aping back like I should.
Yeah. We got a good question from Casey. Oh, sorry, you want to go?
Oh, just real quick, it does go to show you like the type of market that we're in, where either Motley or Coffee kind of mentioned that like you do really kind of have to check your emotions at the door. And even in 2017, I was guilty of the same thing, even though I was holding like some of the blue chip cryptos. Guilty of like chasing a pump or kind of getting sold into those promises. And that's what's so cool about Hex is. Like Hex is so different, and the one thing it doesn't do is give you those false BS promises. The last thing I'll say is yesterday on the stream, someone was like, "Richard, why don't you do Hex on ADA?" And he was talking about like that you can't actually do the smart contracts on ADA. So stuff like that's good to know.
Yeah, Casey, going back to the HexNet alternative thing.
Yep.
How will we measure security if we are our own net? How will we ensure security if we're our own network? A little nervous. How do they transfer legacy Hex shares over? Casey, if I knew, I would be telling you right now. But I think the thing is, there's a lot of unknowns in the system, and there's a lot of planning and strategic thinking that needs to happen before these decisions get made. I think that there's a point of being good enough in terms of your security. So it's probably not going to be proof of work, right? It's probably going to be some kind of proof of stake to get consensus on the new network. And it just might be based off of, T-shares and how many people are already holding shares, right? I mean, granted, you probably will have to run some kind of a node as a holder of Hex. There'll probably be some kind of proof of stake mechanism, potentially with its own token. Now, they don't have to have a token, right? You have like Hyperledger and blockchains that don't have to have a token. So the answer is I don't know, but we're going to let you guys know about it as soon as we do. So as these decisions get made, that's the fun part, right? I remember like a year or two before Hex was being built, we were learning about all these things on the spot. Like every month or two, there'd be like a new design decision, and it was fun. And we'd be able to communicate about it. And back then, everyone was too pussy to go on stream or anything. Well, not really,
Yeah.
but no, everyone kind
Except
of
for coffee.
So I just figured I'd step up to the plate.
I was still a YouTube
yeah.
pleb. I wasn't even in Telegram or Twitter for the beginning portions.
Dude, I was just an internet lurker, dude. I was a lurker, and so was everybody because Hex didn't have a community.
Yeah.
But now that it has a community, you can watch things unfold because we literally have nothing else to talk about, and we just nitpick and drill down into this shit like to the utmost degree. Yeah, to the bone, and we just we'll let you know everything we do. But I mean, think about it. It was just announced like 2 days ago, so I don't even think they know. You know what I mean?
Tell me, Richard. Tell me.
I mean, the Hexicans, we do our own research, right? And that's why I think it is cool that like on the live streams we can have these questions and bring these questions to the table. But as far as Casey's question, no one obviously knows all the details yet because Richard's kind of just mentioned it. But the one thing I can say is Richard is so meticulous and does things the right way that if you spent a couple years making Hex and getting it audited, that with whatever he does do to change this to DPoS and hard fork it, I know it's going to be the right decision, and he's going to have thought this out much more in advance.
Right. And I mean, even the concept of having 21 node validators like Binance Smart Chain does, we might not like that because it's owned by a company or it's prone to counterparty risk and government risk and stuff like that. Yeah. And just, who knows what governments can do to switch things off. But there's something to be said for being good enough of security, right? So like no one's ever really 51% attacked EOS, right? As far as I know. And they have 21 nodes. But that's because the 21 nodes are all actually, by being less decentralized, they're actually more secure in a really ironic way. Now they're not as censorship resistant, right? But they're more secure. I mean, in terms of 51% attacks, right? They're more resistant to 51% attacks at the expense of censorship resistance, right? So how do you get censorship resistance and a good balance? That's what Richard was talking about, like with the triangle, right? It's like time, budget, and scope, right? You have to pick two of the three things, right? Or you have to like sacrifice one end of the triangle to make the other two go up, right? So it's like, if you want something to be more complex and take less time, you have to put in a lot more money. Or if you want something to take less time and be not that complex, you can sacrifice money. Wait, no, you guys know what I'm saying. That came out wrong, but you get the idea, right? Sacrifices. BMA says, I'm an old guy. I learned a lot from coffee in the early days of Hex, and we're still in. Yeah, we are, dude. Literally, we are in year 1.25.
We're still a baby.
We're one in 3 months.
We essentially just know how Hex works, and all that's about to change soon. We're about to have our own chain. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna encapsulate these stakes and Hex and operate on different chains. It's nice though, right? Like it's refreshing. The time when Hex was getting a little bit stagnant, people were freaking out because we're going a little sideways. Now we have all this new stuff to kind of theorize on, talk about, and just watch develop over the next 6 months.
Kind of like
a year.
Birth, right? It's like being born is a painful experience, and we came out of the womb kicking and screaming and being called a scam, and now we're going through our adolescent phase, right? Like we're going through our little quinceañera party.
We grow up so fast. The growing pains.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so this is like the adolescence of Hex. Yeah.
Well, and we're just getting in big people that are interested. Like I can see that even within the Harry guy and then the Jane King lady, that Hex really is that financial product that can be marketed as such a big thing, right? It's definitely got a lot more going for it than some of these other things as far as the network effect and the adoption. I mean, with people like Lex Friedman, like I could definitely see in the future a lot more people like Rogan and whoever else in the traditional systems maybe covering it, just because it's like the new hit on town. Like Doge was very similar, where Elon's even talking a whole bunch about Doge, and I don't know, what if he gets his hands on something like Hex or other people do,
Yeah.
I mean,
don't ever underestimate the power of organic reach and not paying for influencers. You are the network, right? Your voice matters. And if you get out there and make a video that's of good quality, right? If you've got something to say and you're not just sitting on the camera drooling, you can start to convince people. Yeah, Molly. Up there. No, you actually have influence over the world around you, and people will take notice. The longer you speak the truth, I mean, people are just going to have to be receptive to it. They can't put their head in the sand forever. And this is just a nice indicator, a nice small win, right? But just think about it. If somebody like Lex Friedman noticed us after 15 months of existing, who else is watching us? Who else is lurking in our chat rooms that is of notoriety? And if we can't have the people of notoriety, one day we'll become those people ourselves, right? We'll become the rich notoriety, like the rich famous people. Not like we want to be famous or anything, but yeah.
And you get what you put in too, right? Like I was talking earlier back in the green room. Yash Deep had a cool strategy where he would been reaching out to Lex Friedman on his LinkedIn, where there's not as much white noise going on with all these crypto plebs yelling at him to get Doge, and Doge is the future, and Bitcoin is the best technology we've ever seen in the space. All this bullshit. He was doing a well-written, composed message to him on LinkedIn, and like there's creative ways to do it. Reach out through their business emails. Usually they have people that are working for them that feed this stuff up. So make whatever content you're providing for them, whether it be a video, whether it be just a little expose you do, whatever, make sure it's well thought out and well crafted. And we kind of talked about this earlier too, where it's fun to throw memes out there and stuff on Twitter, and sometimes that does gain traction. But if you put a lot of time into a well-written piece, it really is going to garner those eyeballs, as opposed to just like yelling pleb and putting a funny little gift or something like that, because then you're just going to get lost in the sea of all the other white noise that's already out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty interesting. Let's talk about what Yashdeep even did on LinkedIn. So did he just type out like more of a long form message? I didn't really even pay attention.
Yeah, let me see if I can snag that or not.
Yeah, so if you can pull that up, we can talk about it. And it'll be an example of what you guys can do when interacting with everybody, right? Because if you are the network and you represent Hex, no matter where you go, think about how you would want Hex represented to you, right? You'd want to be not necessarily professional. Like you can be playful, fun. You could be weird. You could be freaky and whatever. Like stand out a little bit, right? We're a pink and yellow coin. Like stand out.
Yeah.
That's what Richard would want, right? So it's like, it's okay to be weird, but don't be mean. Don't be fucking rude. Like when I see people on, Twitter just going after people, it's like, dude, are you okay? Like, are you having a bad day? Like, what did that guy even say to you? And just another small tip too for people reaching out on, Twitter DMs or Instagram DMs or LinkedIn. Always start off with something about the other person first. Don't say, hey, my name is blank and I want this from you. They're going to stop reading after you talk about what you want. Talk about what they want. Talk about, first of all, hey, I've been a huge fan. I love your documentary about the rainforest. I think it really covered fucking frogs in a, cool night camera. By the way, and then lead that in somehow, right? Lead that in.
Yeah.
So here's what we got. Oh shit, this is tiny.
Can you, hold on. Let me see.
Should I remove that?
Can
Real
you
quick.
see it now?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I got like a large monitor, so sometimes it shrinks everything down. Can you see it or no?
It's pretty tiny.
All right, I'll just read it to you guys in my beautiful voice. So, this is Yash Deep just reaching out to Lex Friedman on LinkedIn. So he just made a really nice composed message and sent it to him. Hi Lex, I highly recommend interviewing Richard Hart. He's the most honest and knowledgeable person in crypto. He has a long list of accomplishments in the real world and inside the crypto space. He's written a book called Scivive, which explains how we can survive through science. He's deeply interested in longevity research and used to volunteer for the SINS Foundation. Within crypto, he called the 20K BTC Christmas blow off top on TV, then called the 3-year bear market. In December 2019, he launched his own coin during the middle of a bear market, and it has outperformed everything since, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. As you can tell, I have a lot of respect for him and you as well. I watch your podcast quite regularly, and I am happy to see you and Michael Malice become good friends. Best wishes, Yash Deep. And so, right, like he does a couple things well. He goes and he talks about Richard. He talks about a list of his accomplishments. He knows a little bit about Lex Friedman, so he knows what's going to interest him. He knows the fact that Richard wrote a book about surviving through science. SciVive is going to speak to him because the guy's really big into computer science and technology and AI. So that's really going to hit a chord with him. And then he's also currently interested in the crypto space. So it's already two commonalities that they share. And then he goes on to talk about how he's essentially a thought leader in the space. And then he finishes up saying how much respect he has for Richard, how much respect he has for Lex, how it's going to make great content for both of them to perhaps meet up and do an interview. It's just very well composed, well written, and you can tell that he actually put a lot of thought and
Did he respond to that?
I don't think he actually responded to it, but
Just
but
kidding.
I mean, there's a good chance he probably saw that and read that.
Yeah, he probably read that.
That was before the interview or any of that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good solid, professional message, and it's important to find the overlap too. What do you like? What do you and Richard have in common? And then, if I would write that, I'd try to like bridge that and just lead with that. There's no right or wrong way, but get their attention and not in a rude way, and not by just talking about what you want the whole time, right? Corey, what's up, dude? We have a new Hexakin, just finished onboarding. Congratulations, man.
It's awesome.
I'm sure with the people I'm sure it's a very affluent individual. Corey, nice job, bro. Chris, he did it. He really did a good job.
Yep.
Who is it? Is it someone we know?
Who? Corey?
I don't know.
Oh no, I think he was talking about just Yash Deep's message.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Come on, follow along.
Sorry, man, I'm all over the place. Toblerus says, overall, is it fair to say these ETH gas issues have become a blessing in disguise? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would have happened any other way. I mean, the fact that if you want the fact that there is high gas means there's a lot of users on ETH, right? So you wouldn't have the gas without the adoption. So they have to come, and then you have to figure out what to do from there. I think the approach that we're taking is actually really good. I mean, Richard really, I'll say it again, he really confirmed my suspicion there that maybe L2 is still going to be kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what if we just leapfrog all that shit, and then maybe when ETH 2.0 comes around, when ETH 2.0 comes around, we're gonna have 100x throughput on the base layer, and then maybe there'll be some kind of cool fork where we just get double our money, kind of like the ETH and ETH Classic type thing. But maybe it's also just airdropped and everyone moves over. So there's two ways you could do it, right? That you could do it like the airdrop way, or the BCH way, or the ETC way, where chain splits and people get money on both chains, or you could do it the way that Tron does it.
Tokens, yeah.
And the way that Tron did it was fucking. I have no idea. Can anybody enlighten me on that one?
Not me. Thought you were going somewhere for a second.
Because Tron started
the way Tron did it, I actually don't have a clue on. Anyone care to take that?
Well, because think about it, they kind of went from kind of just like EOS. They had their ERC20 token, and then they went to their own chain. But like the ERC20 just kind of died overnight, as far as I know. I mean, is anybody still trading Tron on Ethereum?
Well, I know like EOS did that right too. I think they gave you, what was it, like a certain time period where you could actually essentially transfer all your stuff over to the new chain, just like you could just account for it, and then you didn't necessarily get an airdrop or whatever. They just took your digital account of all your stakes, all your coins, and then they're just like, hey, sign this, all right, and then your coins were put on the new chain.
So
you didn't get anything new. It's just essentially replicating all its own ledger and then just putting it on the new chain, and you got forwarded those coins. So I imagine it would have to be the same thing with Hex. You would get your Hex, and then it would also have to encapsulate the stakes and shares as well.
But I want double my coins.
Yeah, I know. Hexo was talking about it. He wants it to be the Hexo coin. Yeah. No, it would be cool. And then if we do like proof of stake or something like that, it's going to be interesting. People that do run a node, whatever those requirements are, if there is going to be some sort of rewards, you would think
I
there'd
will
have
run
to
that
be to a
node. I
degree.
will run that
I
goddamn
run the
node.
shit out of the node.
He did mention like 81 validators, so it's like, you know,
Yeah.
depending on who teaches and whatnot, that's like that might be like sharks and whatnot. I mean,
Sign me
hey,
up.
if we're welcome, then I'm totally down too.
Yeah, you guys ever run a node before? Molly's
No,
run a shit ton of nodes. You used to mine.
Huh? No, but I was just I just put my hash power in a pool. I didn't actually run my own node because I only had 2 8 GPU mining rigs, so I didn't have like a full farm or anything like that. I think Big K actually ran his own node for a while.
I used to run my own Bitcoin node. It was pretty lame.
Yeah, it's not as exciting or as riveting as it sounds, I imagine.
It's fucking stupid. It just sits on your computer and you don't even gain anything from it, dude. You don't even get like a tiny little mining reward. It just sits there. But you're validating transactions, so it actually is important. But it's like, how many people run their own email server? I don't know. Probably not a lot.
I think Motley did bring up a good point real quick about like social media and kind of like contact engagement that, you know, maybe something like Twitter isn't like the best place to DM someone and actually get their engagement. Maybe it is through like a different avenue, like he mentions LinkedIn, or say if it's like Joe Rogan, like, oh, you're probably not going to get to him directly. You probably have to get to the subsidiaries and the people that know him.
Lex Friedman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, just be creative with it. I mean, all Hexicans are smart, so think outside the box on how to. If you want Richard to do interviews with cool people, then you got to think outside the box and how you're going to reach out to them. There's ways.
And how do you? Yeah, and like I'm not really that cool right now, right? So I don't know a lot of cool people. You guys in the chat. Thanks, man. No, like what I'm saying is my network, right? Like maybe it's because I'm a little younger and I haven't, you know, fully reached out to a whole bunch of people yet, and I haven't really hit my stride on that. But I know there's a lot of you guys out in the chat there, like Crypto King or whatever. Somehow people are hooking up these interviews, and use your connections, right? Use your clout, right? Like that you might already have, and if you don't have clout, try to get some. Like I'm trying to get some. Like I might not be doing the best job, right? But I've got a couple thousand subscribers on YouTube, and you know I've talked to some people that are not nobodies, right? So it's like. You just kind of build that snowball effect that way, and then who knows? By the time the time comes to get a Richard interview, maybe you'll be the one interviewing. Maybe you'll just figure, hey, you know, fuck it, let's just do an interview with me. I can handle this now, right? And then you can take some of the load off, because honestly, guys, Richard can't be doing everything. You know, Richard can't be doing every fucking thing all at the same time. Like I know he probably wants to, but you can't be your own PR agent and, you know, going around doing tours. And then also building like the future of cryptocurrency. Like there's 24 hours in a day. So
yeah,
I think you would love to, you know, delegate some stuff to us if you could.
Well, I mean, and that's how cool. That's why. Oh, there he is. It's Linkcoin Wasabi. What's up? Hey, bud.
Yeah.
Your mic. But yeah, no, it's cool, and it's just like this stream, right? Like all this Hexican streamers and everything is just kind of sprang up organically over the past year, and I'm sure Richard is very grateful, and that does take a load off of him, because he can't be sitting there streaming 24/7, especially when you are building out the future and the infrastructure of where Hex is going.
Yeah.
Are you guys able to hear me now?
Yeah, now we can.
Oh, there we go. Much better. I take it. There's conversations with like the Ethereum fork and.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you, bud? We missed you.
That's all we're talking about for the next few months. So.
Yeah. Well, I was actually talking to one of my friends that I grew up with. He's in the crypto. He's been in the crypto market for like the last about year or so. So, I was on a Zoom call with him and have some plans, I guess. But yeah, like when I heard the news yesterday with the Ethereum fork, sounds really interesting to me. I'm excited to see how it plays out. And like when all of that goes underway, I think we're getting pretty close, honestly, to not financial advice. Like you make your own decisions. I don't tell anyone to make the buy or sell. That's up to you. But I do think we're getting close to like a lot of the selling pressure we've had from whales exiting. I think a lot of those hands have been drains, and I think a lot of it's going to end up playing out really nicely because you're going to have a lot of cool stuff happening over the next year or so. So
How about that sexy looking wedge? You want to show us a nice wedge?
Yeah, I'm sure you got one with that nice breakout.
Is there a wedge you'd like to show us?
Let me get my diamond hands ready.
I could probably find a wedge on the chart. I just have to draw
diamond
some
hands in your lotion.
I just have to draw some imaginary lines to make a really nice wedge.
Do it.
Okay.
I saw somebody posted on Twitter that like we just kind of broke out of a ascending wedge, descending wedge.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to see.
Whatever wedge it was, we broke the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
Oh man. Yeah. I looked at my staker app for the first time in a while, and I was just like, it's
Pretty
good to
nice.
be back here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's good to be back here.
Let me actually pull up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna agree. Like I haven't checked staker in a while. It's only nice to check it for the epic pumpage.
Yep. I'll be right back.
I don't like to see how much money I lost. You know, I don't like fucking waking up and being like, oh, I'm poor today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I check impulsively.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brand, because like you shouldn't be checking it impulsively.
Yeah.
Obviously I check it way more when the price goes up, but it's not good for your health.
Is Coffee upset that he lost a couple $100,000?
Hey,
you got it back now. You're good.
we don't talk about other people's money here. Just kidding. We could. That's actually all we talk about.
Well, the comment you had with just people, I guess, checking it impulsively, that is true though, because I mean, like at some point, like you're pretty much 100%, like at some point you're gonna like see it, and then you're just gonna be like fuck, and then just get disappointed. Basically, if you're that's like basically somebody checking they check like their stock portfolio like every morning, and then the moment there's like a red day, it's just like it's like a dagger in their heart. It's just awful.
Yeah.
And then it's
like when you check all your Tinder matches and like one of them unmatches you, and you were talking to her for like a long time.
Right. No, but it really is like it's designed to do the opposite, right? So unless you are trading Hex, like you, probably shouldn't be doing that, because at the end of the day, the cool thing is it does incentivize you to stake, especially with the 40% APY and things like that. But it's cool that you don't have to like compulsively check. And I remember, man, I used to wake up like in 2017 and whatnot, like would wake up in the middle of the night, and I'd be like excited to check my Blockfolio, or like I dabbled with leverage like a very small amount, never anything high, but I'm so glad that I don't have to be in that frame of mind anymore, because it's so much healthier to just like go about your life and worry about other stuff while Hex continues to pump and kick ass.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's so annoying because I'm out here checking QuickSwap every fucking hour. Like, oh, please go back up, and it's awful, guys. Take it from me. Take it from a wrecked pleb himself. And it was hard because the only thing that can really take my mind off of it is working on stuff like building, right? So like I filmed the final lesson of my course today, and that was great.
Nice.
But that only took my mind off shit for like an hour, and then I was back to checking Blockfolio, and I'm like, checking the price is not going to change reality. Like it's not going to go up because you looked at it, right?
Yeah.
When are you thinking about releasing your course? Have you thought
probably the next time the price pumps, because that'll give me all the marketing I need. It's free marketing. Yeah, it'll be good. Things are changing so fast, and I'm probably gonna need to really stay on top of this thing. Like when Hex chain goes out, like I'm gonna have to update everything, right? I'm gonna have to keep updating every time Staker app updates, and that's fine. Like I'm fine with that, but it'll be kind of like my baby. Just it's also meant for noobs, guys. So if you want to. It's not meant for anybody in the chat, but if you want to sell it on behalf of somebody, if you want to give one to your parent or uncle or friend that might not be tech savvy enough to care, it's going to cost about $100, and you might get a $50 kickback referral bonus in cash, and not in hacking, in cash, because it's going to be a referral program. Good.
I think courses like this are amazing. I mean, yeah, like what was it, Charlie and Miguel, dollar cost doing their course. I appreciate people at least like providing value and wanting to help the newbies, right? Because there's so many in the space that are like, they see that someone might not know as much, so they like take it as a point of like, oh, how do I attack this person? Like maybe I can get their seed phrase from them. But from someone that took like even like a few $1,000s worth of like trading courses in 2017, those courses were absolute shit, and they were absolutely like overpriced for nothing, like textbook TA. And so the thing that I've learned is, people like, even though I haven't seen yours yet or dollar cost, I know that the person behind the content is they're consistent, right? And that helps with the new people that are getting in, so they don't make those like major mistakes, because you can lose a lot of money quick.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I bought a $600 course from a man whose last name rhymes with gaze, and it really didn't teach me that much. It basically taught me 5 things that you prioritize. If anybody wants to know what's in the course, it's candlestick patterns, or candlesticks, followed by chart patterns, followed by the TD indicator, Tom DeMark indicator, followed by support and resistance lines, followed by oscillators. And it's basically just using all 5 of those indicators and weighing them on a daily or weekly scale. And so they're, the highest importance is the candlestick shape. The lowest importance is the oscillator. And you basically just make your decision on that. And that's a $600 tone base course.
Yeah, that's it's hilarious because
meanwhile you got Wasabi over here, the freaking chart master.
Well, yeah, but the
like,
thing is, I only use like, maybe there's really only a couple indicators on charts that are useful, and it's just basically a reference. Like it gives you a big edge over everybody else that doesn't know how to read when things are oversold or overbought. Like it works really well to reduce risk in bear markets, to give you like reasonable, like lower cost entries, but it's not intended as like a, it's not intended to be like an oracle. Like the whole point of investing is to lower your risk when you're making your buys. Like you buy when the prices are low, and then you get mad gains when the prices go up. So it's like even somebody, an example, somebody buying Bitcoin at $60,000 today, their upside isn't that high compared to people that bought in the bear market at $3,000. And you only need like a couple basic chart indicators to get like a good reference where it's oversold. But it's scary as fuck when you're buying, because you see a waterfall of red and blood everywhere. But if you're scared as fuck and you're buying when stuff is severely oversold, you're probably doing it right, and you're probably gonna make out really well over time if you can basically buy and just disconnect from the prices. Like you just get your buys in, and you disconnect from the market. It's the best way to do it. These people that have these trading courses that are showing like 100 indicators on the screen, I can't even see what the fuck is going on, because they have like every single moving average, like they have all this stuff going on. I'm like, dude, I it's to the point where you just don't even know what they're trying to basically suggest that they're a price oracle, which is stupid. Like you can't do that in markets. Like the whole thing is, in a market, if too many people believe one thing is going to happen, it's not going to happen. The market changes, it adapts. That's why it's indeterministic. So that one, I know you're very well prepared for.
I'm well vested into that one. But no, you brought up a good point. It's really being one of the key things is just being able to separate your emotions from that when you're making your purchases. Like, was Warren Buffett says it all the time. It's like when there's blood on the streets, that's when you should be buying. And
what if you take
it's hard.
The dollar cost crypto approach is just change the colors on the chart, change red to green and green to red.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah,
I think he said that.
That actually is really good. That actually is very smart.
Because it really is a switch. You almost have to turn your brain, because it really doesn't feel comfortable. You have to get used to just being able to buy on those big red candles. When you buying into the right product, I might add, like Hex.
Yeah, you can only hold tight if you bought right. That's what some rich old dude said one time.
How'd that night end for you?
Well, I got what I wanted, and so did he.
All right. On that
Hey,
note,
look into crypto. You were gonna pull up a wedge. If not, I've got it too. But were you gonna pull that up or any charts or anything?
let's see your wedge, Brand.
Yeah, we could see the brand wedge.
Show us your wedge, Brand.
Guys, this is nothing fancy. Not, you know,
How
like
big
I
is
said,
your
I took a
excited.
TA course, but obviously I'm, you know, this is just.
Man, everyone's
is just
taking a
like-
course besides me. I'm fucked up.
Let's see where that $1,000 TA course got you. Can your wedge
Well,
fit inside a
it
toilet paper
took me
roll?
very far, man. Just to kind of point out what you guys are talking about, like the triangle or the wedge type deal, and it seems that like I don't know, around like 70% of a penny. Like we just really haven't dropped below this since like the big payday, and just
Yeah.
the price itself. I mean, even on the daily when you kind of zoom out and scroll down, you can kind of just see like from the charts that I've looked at back in the day, like this shit looks like it's ready to freaking take off. Like almost similar to what we did in April. You know, the big pump in April. And anyways, we're doing real good on the price chart. You know,
Damn,
from what
you're,
I see.
Yeah.
you're drawing your line off that red wick there, Brad. I don't know about that.
Hey, don't you draw lines off?
Let's see your
Interesting
chart.
strat. I don't know too much about charting, but I don't know if you do that.
I've got a legit question. Legit question for Wasabi. Do you draw lines off wicks or bodies? Bodies, right?
I draw them off bodies. Yeah.
It's kind of like a debate, I think, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like all the good people use bodies.
Yeah. What
Damn, calling Brand out.
Hey, I'm fine. Dude, I'm used to it. It's all good. Wait, here's the other thing too. Is like, you know, it's nice to be able to learn from people that do have experience, right? Because if you are kind of using this as like, oh, you know, maybe I could get in here, or this is where the entry is. It helps to know, like, listen to what you said about the bodies. So, hey, I learned something new.
Yep, bodies or wicks. I like wicks. I like big wicks and nice bodies.
I like my wicks thick. 2 C's.
Girthy.
Girthy.
Hey, speaking of
wicks.
thick, have you guys seen the latest NFT like retardation?
Yeah,
It's-
Big
it's-
Pet brought it up. The fucking thick Pokemon, the most disturbing shit I've ever
Dude,
seen.
you
I did
cannot
not
make
see
this shit up, man. It's like you couldn't write this in a movie script, dude. So thick Pokemon are basically remade Pokemon cards that are now NFTing
Nice
for
assets.
for 5 ether. Like some of them minted at 0.5 and are selling for 5 ether. And they're just Pokemon
Stupid.
cards that are thick with 2 C's.
2 C's thick.
So let me pull up a little
Oh my
little
god.
thing for you guys, and this will be very entertaining. I mean, holy shit, you're not going to believe this. Like I said, you cannot write this stuff.
When Big Pet brought this up on Commander's stream, like I like Googled it, and I was like, "Am I looking at the right thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, probably." I was like, "Fuck."
Oh my god.
Thunder cheeks.
Pikachu
Oh,
used
shit.
clap.
Oh my god. People are actually buying this? Holy moly.
Dude,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
I mean, look at this guy. 15 ether, bro.
fucking Beedrill up there's got like 4 asses.
What? That's a lot. That's too many asses. I don't know which one you. All right. Thick
Okay.
Pidgey. Booty
Oh,
sweep.
God. Bro, you're gonna get us
Thick
pulled out.
Blastoise.
At least it's your channel. It's just the shell. It's so stupid. I hate everything.
that's what the NFT world is doing. If
Yep,
you guys
that's
were
the new-
wondering.
new craze for NFTs.
This just in from the NFT world. Hexkong, finally an NFT I can support. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's so tempting to get into, you see these NFTs going up and you're like, I could just make a couple JPEGs and become anonymous and go scam people. And I think that's what almost is being done to a degree. I mean,
Yeah.
part of it is probably money
Right.
laundering, and there's probably some element of fraud and money laundering.
Mm.
Because in the real art world too, there's fraud that I mean, I'm not going to act like I know about real art, but there's a lot of money laundering that goes on in art, right? Like,
Totally.
I
Hey,
don't know.
Toblerone is in the chat. You don't you don't do that.
NF titties.
I bought his Hex bull painting. I still gotta hang that
Dude,
up
that looks
somewhere.
cool.
It looks awesome, by the way. Thank you. It came intact with no issues, so thank you again. Look forward to finding
Dude, Don, imagine being the guy left with that bag of thick Pikachu.
Yeah, that's how you get people jumping out of windows.
Oh yeah, that's literally like call the suicide hotline.
It does
Yeah,
go to show you
right.
like the degeneracy that we're seeing. I mean, $69 million for an NFT and all these other things. I mean, you got people taking screenshots of NFTs that they're selling and then, reposting that as an NFT. And I agree that part is like, as far as the market goes, it is pretty, a lot of money for nothing of utility, right? Since it is non-fungible too.
Hexcon said
Yeah.
Thick Pikachu is clearly decorrelated. It's not going to be affected.
Talk about a
It's
decorrelated
too
asset.
thick. It's too thick to be affected by the bear market.
That's hilarious.
God damn.
So
Yeah,
what else? What else, guys?
Go ahead. Look at the crypto. What were you saying?
I was gonna say there was this is back during the bear market, but I was like speculating. I mean, it wasn't like crazy amount of money, but it was kind of a waste of time for the most part. But I was speculating on these these garbage NFTs on Decentraland that it's in my wallet forever. I'm just like, if somebody wants to pay a retarded price for this, like maybe one day I'll be able to sell it. But
No, bro. Just lay it to rest next to CryptoKitties because that's where it's all going.
probably, very likely.
Yep.
So what do you
Yeah.
think, guys? In global macro trends, do we get one more big pump from helicopter money, and then do we crash down to 30K Bitcoin
Yeah,
for the ultimate bull market fake out, or do we? It just seems like that's exactly what would happen. Like that's what would happen to fuck the most people out of their money, possibly.
Yeah.
All those stimulus checks all washed away.
Yeah. It just seems too perfect because the market will always do the thing that just fucks with the most people, in my opinion. And it's like that'd be too perfect for us. But like, I guess my only real question is: do we get another couple of months, like April and May, of bullishness, or do we not?
I could see. I mean, but we had, at least if you compare it to last cycle, and what's hard when comparing it to last cycle is Richard makes a good point that a lot of the fractals that used to apply they don't really work anymore. So if you look at the rotations of the coins that have had really big moves so far, to me it seems like Ethereum particularly, I don't think it's done. Like, not financial advice. I have a hard time seeing like 2000 being like the top for Ethereum. I think there's a lot of room.
60K.
Yeah, with Bitcoin at 60K, I think there's a lot of room for that to keep the bull market going for a while, with like things like ETH 1559 and all the layer 2 scaling coming online. So that's mostly just like the hype narratives. At the end of the day, those don't necessarily matter. But what I'm speculating on is that I think Ethereum will get priced in before all that stuff. Well, the protocol upgrade for layer 2 will come relatively soon, but my speculation is that it's going to peak before the protocol upgrade for ETH 1559. And at what price, like, no idea. But at least if you compare it to the 2017 bubble, Bitcoin had its blow off top at 20K, crash back to like 17. And then Ethereum, basically during that time period before Bitcoin totally collapsed, Ethereum rallied from, I think it was like $600 up to like $1,400 in a very short period of time. So I don't think we've really seen, like, I don't know if you guys follow like any of Benjamin Cohen's content, but I kind of agree with him that I don't think we've quite seen it yet for Ethereum. So, even if we do get a pullback on prices, like, I think it's just going to be we hit a local top, we bottom out somewhere, but I don't think we've seen a blow off top yet, at least for Ethereum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just it too. Like, I wouldn't mind Richard kind of talks about like the irrational exuberance. Like, hey, I wouldn't mind if some of the NFT sector kind of just if maybe that's where some of the bubble started, and then they realized, oh, maybe I will go back to the Bitcoin and the other things. I think it still does definitely have legs up. And when you mentioned the same thing, that it hasn't really been repeating its fractals with the helicopter money and with the institutional buying and people like Grayscale. It is really interesting to see that, hey, we didn't really have these factors last time.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, shit, my stimulus check is pending, boys.
Nice,
It'll be in my bank account tomorrow.
Nice.
Badass.
Fuck yeah.
Badass.
I'm checking now.
I know, right? Me too.
I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I heard there's like a. Never mind.
It caps you at 75K, and then then it starts chipping away at it percentage wise every little bit you make over that.
Gotcha. So I'm out. Yeah. Anyway, Duhawk SM says 5th wave up in the Bitcoin super cycle. We'll see a lot of dumb shit along the way. Dumber shit than you saw in 2017. I don't know if it's dumber shit, but it's definitely different dumb shit.
Kinda.
Like, it almost is dumber shit. It's like it's like everyone's eating their own dog food now. I feel like in 27, well, they were in 2017 too.
It's just like copy and pasting the dumb shit from last time, and then trying to do even a more like shittier version of it and passing it off again. Like, hey, maybe they'll fall for it a second time.
Right. Like, there's not ICOs anymore, but people are now replacing the letter C with every letter of the alphabet. So there's IEOs, there's IDOs, there's going to be fucking IQOs or whatever next. I mean, who knows? Right.
Yeah,
like,
Well, you give people a little bit of success, and now they've never experienced the bear market, and they're not humble, right? They think that, oh, I can just put my money in here, almost like in 2017. You throw the dart at any altcoin, you're doing great, but that's when people really do end up getting wrecked, and they really do realize, oh, maybe this isn't worth what I thought it was, and that's when like the smart money tends to go into safer things that are a hedge against the assets that are just going down like crazy. So
yeah, it's the new dumb shit, right? It's like governance, staking,
Cheap
duct
gas fee
tape
token.
coins. Yeah, gas fee token. Franklin, CryptoKitties was not as dumb as NFTs. I don't know which one was more dumb, because CryptoKitties at the time, you remember how stupid they seemed.
It was stupid, but I mean, they hadn't really been done before, so at least they were somewhat new.
They were at least the original dumb idea.
Yeah, they were the OG NFTs. Like they're the shit that started all this off.
All right, well then I gotta agree with you on that one. You guys changed my mind. NFTs are officially dumber than CryptoKitties. Shit, that's an achievement. T-Don, maximum economic centralization 2, and nobody complains. Yeah, what do you mean? Oh, you mean in all these other coins? Yeah, like Uniswap owning like 90% of the coins, and it's like, oh, but that's okay because we like Hayden and we don't like Richard.
Seems logical.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, what else is going on in the crypto space? Hex, a lot of shit going on, a lot of speculation, right? It's like,
what'd you take away from Richard's stream looking to crypto since you got here a little bit late? What were some of the big things you liked the most?
Yeah, so I do really like the idea, just long term, having not having to worry about gas fees, most notably because it actually adds strategies for staking. I'm not sure if I want to go into details what my particular strategies are for that, because there's well, I guess I'll just say I don't care.
Basically, you can find out and make them pay. No, I'm just kidding.
Would you buy my course?
If you buy my Discord room, go ahead.
What you can do now is you can set up 15-year stakes. You can also with like a smaller percent of your stack. Let's say you take 5% of your hex or whatever. You can actually just roll those into like reoccurring 30-day stakes if you just want to skimp off like small amounts of interest each month to have like more short-term capital. I would still allocate the large majority in basically the T shares long term, because you are not going to outpace basically those long stakers. You're just not. But depending on your monthly situation, like this stuff is literally going to turn into a pretty ridiculous amount of passive income long term. So I do have a plan on having like I already have my long term stake set, but I also am going to have just like reoccurring monthly income. I don't plan on like selling any of that, like the income that I generate now, because I think the price is going to go far higher. So like when at a certain point when the new, like there's going to be like a round of massive exuberance again at some point. And like, when I see that, like I'm going to take profits on like interest and things like that. And then, like just slowly, de-risk out of the market, still have my long-term T-share, ASIC coin, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just an amazing opportunity to gain passive income. Because to me, that's the whole game to me. This cycle is a snapshot of the potential for passive income. And then next cycle, it's going to be real. Because this cycle, it won't be sustainable. We're going to hit a blowout top somewhere. The market's going to correct, blah, blah, blah. But then next cycle, the next bull market, after you set your new price floor, people are going to have, or those that smartly, keep accumulating and don't get shaken out of the market, they're going to have passive income for life. I mean, this to me, that's amazing. Like it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And I don't think people even realize just how much that can turn into in a 10 to 15 year timeline.
Dude,
I mean, if you even have 100,000 hex, you might have like full-time salary worth passive income.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you have 100,000 hex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're looking close to around 1 million hex by the end of like a 10 to 15 year stake. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Oh, wait, no, way more than that. Excuse me. Sorry, I was thinking of some of my smaller stakes. Yeah. Shit ton of money. But
Yeah.
no, what I was saying now is like our hex money printing machines now, they're essentially like Hummers, right? Like super gas heavy, just guzzling that shit, costing a fortune to fill up. And then we're about to go to that hybrid model where we're pretty much going into Tesla mode, where it costs nothing to even run these damn things now. Essentially just maintain the network just with like a pit back to like penny fees again. And like a lot of us have got to experience what it's like to go and experience that again with like the Matic network.
Yeah.
Like, one Matic for like 40 cents, you can do like 10,000 transactions. Like, it's just stupid.
Right. So we just test drove the Roadster, but we're going for the Model S because they're not making the Roadsters anymore. Roadsters are obsolete. Are they making them still? I don't know.
They're making a new Roadster, I thought.
Oh, cool. That's sick.
Yeah. I think
Maybe I'll
they're
buy one
making a
with
new
my hex gains one day. But yeah, I love that analogy, Molly. Right now you're driving Hummer Tesla. You're driving Hummer hex.
They're
you
cool.
want to be in that Tesla, and they're cool.
Yeah,
they can
they're
do a lot
fun.
of shit. Yeah, you can destroy some fucking shit. You can run some stuff over in those
Some-
things, but they're bad for the
Some
environment.
maxis. Yeah.
You can steamroll some maxes in there.
But yeah,
You hear Richard talk,
Go ahead, Brad.
talking about the Sherb on the Adam Stokes stream. Like, did you guys end up looking at those? They go like 35 miles an hour, but they're like a tank on wheels. He was saying they're like $150,000, and he was debating on getting
Oh
one.
yeah.
He
Sherb
talked
or
about Sherp tanks on the
Yeah.
stream. Oh, I missed
What are
that.
those?
With Adam Stokes, yeah, like briefly.
How do you spell that?
SHERP, I think. I don't know.
Pull those up.
They're crazy Russian vehicles. They're pretty much can go over any terrain, water, mud, you name it. It has just these. It's a small little vehicle, but it's got these just 4 massive tires that can inflate, deflate, and you can literally you can traverse anything. When they're like rugged as shit. They
Those
pretty
are
much
pretty
are.
sick.
They're pretty much held together with like bicycle parts. You can repair everything with like the small toolkit. They're pretty beastly.
I could see
Imagine
Richard
just
driving
an
one.
army.
Yeah, it's
Imagine
just
an
a-
army of
Army
hexagons
Sherps.
rolling in on these to the next conference.
Wait, Brand. How did this come up on the stream? I missed the Sherp the Sherp tank comment.
I don't know. He might have been commenting about like vehicles, and I'm not sure, honestly. I forget.
Those are cool coffee. That's built by a private company. It's called the Ripsaw, and that thing
Wow.
that thing goes like 60 miles an hour, like over any terrain. That thing's ripping. They tried to get a contract with the Army, or maybe they actually did acquire it. But I saw that thing with like 50 cal machine guns on top of it. It was pretty sick.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The Mexican Space Force are going to
yeah, just like that. That was the prototype.
Sweet.
I'd buy a
Fuck
shirt.
yeah, dude. I'd buy a shirt, but there's not. Yeah, I mean, it's delayed gratification, right? Like how many you'd be able to buy 100 Sherps in 10 years, or one Sherp now.
Dude, Richard was getting me going with the freaking watch porn too that he did on the live stream. He actually actually showed off his new Daytona he had. I think it was two-tone black dial Daytona. It was nice.
Yeah, I'm not even that much of a watch guy.
Yeah,
I'm not that much of a watch guy, but I can respect him for the craftsmanship and all that. And maybe if I have some disposable income one day, maybe I will buy one.
Yeah, it's definitely a goal for myself, but right now the opportunity costs and like I'm not selling any Hex for a stupid watch right now. It's just not gonna do it.
Yeah, anything you buy with Hex right now is gonna feel really stupid.
Really stupid. It's gonna be a painful reminder.
Yeah, I like selling coins while we're still relatively early in a bull market. It's just not a good idea. Like, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to buy like, because all this stuff, I mean, it's all, everybody has their preference, but I kind of I'm more on the greedy side where I just want like my net wealth to just keep going up and up and up and up. So I'm like, I don't want to buy stupid shit that just doesn't pump. So if you give that up too early, like you'll be able to buy like 100 watches, at the time, at some future point in time versus buying one watch now. But they are really cool watches. I'll say that they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, we need that tank on the terrain of Saturn.
Nice.
Even though Saturn's a gas giant, I don't know if there's any land on Saturn. Gotta hit you with the nerd fact really quick.
We'll just get bigger tires until we just float. fill them with helium. So maybe like carbon nanotubes so we're super light.
We can hotbox the submarine.
Bran, come on now.
Bran, how dare you?
Yeah, drugs are
right.
Come on, this is a rated PG show.
Yeah, there's kids,
There's
future Hexicans watching this right now.
Right. I mean, it's just a great time to be in Hex. I don't know what else to say. There's a lot of good stuff to be excited about. It's so much more entertaining, and it reinvigorates my shilling tendencies. So I hate shilling to people when they can't afford to get in, when they want to get in with $100. It's just so heartbreaking to be like, oh yeah, sorry, dude. It's like,
sorry, you're too
rich
much
people only. Yeah, it's like, and that sucks.
It's fucked up, but it's true though, because if they can't come with any sort of substantial amount of money, like you're cutting into, if they come with $100, you're cutting it into half of what they have, if not more, by the time you make the purchase and you stake it and the fees coming in, like you're staking maybe like $30-$40 of that $100. It's stupid.
It's real. I've wasted so much in gas myself just testing that. Like I tested a new wallet today and I wasted like $30 testing it out just to see if the fees would be cheaper. Newsflash, they're not.
You know how many nice dinners I've wasted on just like a single gas transaction? Just like, oh, there goes another steak dinner. Like,
totally, man.
Just to transfer, just to buy, just like it's just like, steak dinner, steak dinner. Just throwing it out the window every time.
Dude, you're right, man. I hate thinking about it. It's awful.
32-ounce ribeye gone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like it's nice that we're having this problem and we're able to fork off of it and like innovate, but the problem sucks. Like it's a terrible. Like this is not what crypto. It was supposed to be peer-to-peer, borderless. For the people, money for the people, and now it's like, all right, well, who is this really money for? Money for the whales. Money for the people with money.
You got to come in with a couple $1,000 purchase to make it worth your while.
Yeah,
you really do.
Right.
But it's incentive to get that money too. It's incentive to save up a couple thousand or a couple hundred if you can. Like it's incentivizes a different way of thinking. All of this whole crypto game is really just it's really inverted my philosophy on a lot of stuff.
Exactly, and I forgot what stream it was, but I was kind of talking about it on it. Like the opportunity cost for you not to get in Hex, even if you think you can't financially afford it right now, it's too great not to partake in it. And you just have to get creative with how you come up with the means to invest into an opportunity like this, right? Like this only comes around once. So if you got to go around your house and look at all the useless shit that you probably haven't touched in years, fucking go Gary V on that shit and sell it. Go look at quick internet. Like the internet's an amazing thing. You can do retail arbitrage. You can do, there's so many cool things that you could do now that you can make quick flips and easy money that you couldn't in the past. Go Uber. Do you have a car? If you got a car, go fucking Uber on the weekends. Go do Lyft. Go do Grubhub. All these different options to gain surplus income, and you can actually use that to, just like Look Into Crypto said, he just wants to continue to build his wealth. He just wants to see those dollar signs go up. He wants to continue to grow, and like these opportunities don't come along very often. The bull market in general, and then Hex, this could be once in your lifetime opportunity. Take it, even if you think you can't afford it. Take the extra time to actually make it happen.
You're right. A lot of people, they're buying lunches and they're spending, money on coffee and Starbucks. And in reality, you can either make excuses for something or you can find answers and solutions. And so even Whales Only is like, man, ever since, getting into Hex and the t-shirts, like money's just, coming to me. And you really got to, with how quick and how, much Hex can appreciate, it's like, man, how much opportunity cost is there if you splurge too much and you're not actually investing and saving,
Yep. What were you guys saying?
Anybody know any good Go developers?
No, I didn't even know what the fuck Go was when Richard mentioned it. I was just like, oh, Rusted Go, cool. No idea. Yeah.
Well, it's good that he's focused on that because it's basically the way I understand it is that's the language that the Ethereum virtual machines EVMs are coded in. And if you want your chain to be maximum interoperable with stuff, you need it to be in Go. You need it to be EVM compatible. So I think that's good that he's thinking from that foundational level. And he was saying too, Solidity doesn't even matter because we're not building smart contracts anymore. The product is the smart contract. The product's been built. If anything, you might be just wrapping a smart contract on a different, you might be like in caps, like, I don't know, but there's really no code that needs to be done on the smart contract, like middleware layer. It's all just the total like back end of everything. OG Hexicans are in the know will become the new whales, like Richard says. His plan was 20 years out. We're right on schedule. 20 years, right? Most people can't wait it out. It's hard to think about that. It's hard to delay your gratification like that.
Yeah,
Sorry. Hex cufflinks are made by Cookie Boys. Is my first purchase for the next Hex conference. Cufflinks? Is that what he's making?
I think we were just talking about having Cookie Boy make some because he does the jewelry and like Hex maybe like sapphires and the Hex colors would look cool for like cufflinks. I think that looks sweet. Gotcha. Probably not too expensive either. As opposed to getting a blinged out chain like Brand's got. Solid gold, right, Brand?
Oh yeah, call me on the bluff. No, dude, this shit. Here's the thing: it's either 14,000 or like 150. This shit's just brushed, man. I could give a fuck about solid gold. I ain't trying to have someone rob me and have to use the body cam. No thanks.
Did you get that out of a quarter? Okay. Did you get that out of like one of those quarter machines? Okay.
How'd you know, man? Only a couple pennies, actually.
Yeah, my stimulus check is not available right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
mine should be in my account when the bank's open tomorrow. So probably going straight to Ethereum and then Hex. Well, I don't know. I'm hoping for a dip, but it might not come.
Sometimes dips just there's no more dips after.
Sometimes when all the weekends are gone, there's just no more dips.
I had a friend, a coworker actually, that was getting in, and he's like, "Brand, tell me more about Hex." And so I told him, and then it was like 89% of a penny, 88% of a penny, and And I told him like, hey man, now's not too shabby of a time to look into it. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna wait for a dip. Next day it pumps like 20-something%, and then I tell him, and it's over a penny, and now he's like FOMOing in. It's like, dude, like quit listening to your emotions and like think about this logically. This is your future, this is your investing. You gotta like save the money aside and average in if you need to. You don't have to stake all of it at once, but at least have some sort of plan for your investments.
Yeah, let's talk about the times that people forget, huh? Shall we? If you were waiting for a dip right here, you never got that dip. That dip just fucked you in the ass.
Totally, man.
Sorry.
And it's gone.
It's fun to
Well,
just
this
play
is the power of crypto.
This is power of Hex. Fuck crypto.
Watch
Yeah.
this. Oh, I'm waiting for a dip right here. It actually would have been a great dip. Never mind.
I was waiting for that to come. I was like, damn, Coffee's got the whole chart memorized.
I'm like right here at a
There we
point
go.
0.03. Waiting for a dip. Oh shit, no.
Yeah.
But it actually did. You actually did get the big payday dip. But come on, how many people bought the big payday dip?
Me?
When the Hex pumps, it really does
Go on.
pump. The
A lot of
legs
us
up.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to find a good example. I guess I couldn't really find one.
Coffee's got the whole chart memorized.
Yeah, and actually there was price history before this moment too. People don't remember that. This is December 15th. There was technically prices around here, in the abyss. Where I think there's
Not
a
a lot. Logarithmic.
I like
Yeah.
to like take my total like amount of money I put into Hex like to date, and then just go back and put it on day 33, and just look at how much Hex I could have
Oh
had
my
if
god, that's kind of just
it hurts me so bad. I'm like, I could be in that whale's position right now if I wanted to be.
You're gonna do it again in like 10 years from now. You're gonna be like, let me find out how much I would have had if I just put it in on day 33.
Billionaire.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Hey, Brennan bought the big payday dip exactly at 0.00199.
Oh, is he talking about? He's so damn proud of that shit.
Well, Brennan, good for you.
Congratulations. You caught the knife.
Aren't you special? No, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's I don't know how the fuck you did that, but good job.
I think it's cool to notice the patterns though. Like for me, big payday, there's someone that I knew that wanted to dump it, and they ended up dumping it like 60% of a penny. And I tried to tell them, like, dude, if you just stake for this one day, you're still gonna make like 30%, things like that. And they were just listening to their emotions. But it goes to show you that like the sentiment of the market too, right? When everyone thinks, especially with something solid like Hex, they think it's gonna dump, and in reality, whales are really buying their sells. So.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's pretty funny is that everybody on stream was bought up coins from a lot of those sellers, so that if they ever watch the stream, Brand bought the bottom Brand bought up all your coins.
That's hilarious.
The guy is like, I my Hex, man.
They're gonna be so pissed, dude. Like when they watch that later,
I was about to say, can you invert the candles?
I flipped them. Oh no, I gotta
Nice.
flip the borders of them too. And there we go.
Psychology trick. I think Maddie would like this.
Hey Maddie, am I doing good? Tell me I'm doing good.
Tell me how
Hold on.
great my mental health is right now.
It is cool to have someone like him that's like, so many people that got a whole bunch of professions that like know their shit, because it goes to show that if they're in it too, like, hey, this is kind of nice to have a therapist to talk to every now and then.
Oh shit, guys! Red candle today. Who's selling? I'm scared.
Oh, it's a green.
stupid-
Look at that stupid green candle.
No, green candle's like yes, green. All right. Move on. Yeah. So the real way to get rich, and this is something that's actually very serious, is just to buy everything and hold it. Like really, really wealthy people don't sell a lot of their stuff. Eventually, they get so rich that they can just kind of borrow against their stuff, or whatever. And they just have enough money to skim off the top barely. But the wealthy mindset is not selling.
You don't sell your assets that generate you money. You just don't.
That's what Wales only
Right.
says, and that's a pretty good thing. And I like the fact that he repeats it a million times too, because it actually allows me to get it through my head.
Yeah.
Big Pep says the same thing with the golden goose, man. Like I didn't really understand that that analogy. Like Big Pep was the first person to like introduce that analogy, but it's so true. I mean, shit, if you got golden goose laying those
Never seen
eggs,
Willy Wonka, bro? Come on now. The
Hey,
goose that lays
you
the
know.
golden eggs? Come on. Gosh.
bad. I don't watch.
Brand, you could even watch the new version with Johnny Depp, the fucking weirdo version of it.
Yeah. Red
You-
means go, green means stay. Red means go ahead and not sell. Green means all clear to buy. I think. Danny Boy said, I am glad we have Matty Allen. Me too, man. Me too. Hex Kong, my cerebral fortitude is immense. I'm assuming you were talking about me, of course. Thank you.
And then Jay lays the golden geese. Fuck the eggs.
Yeah, right. If the golden geese are laying the eggs, then who's laying the geese?
Who came first? The golden geese or the golden eggs? Figure it out.
I don't know what you're doing
or-
with those geese, Jay. I think that's illegal, bro.
Yeah, you should probably not keep them up there like that.
Well, guys, do we have any other topics on the agenda? I mean, we covered a lot of shit. We're pretty awesome.
Yep.
Wasabi, how's the course going, man? Are you a part of that or?
There's stuff on, it's related to taxes that myself and one of my friends that I grew up with are going to cover, I think on Thursday. And it kind of goes in line to what, it kind of goes in line with what you're like, how you, I guess you just mentioned where you don't sell assets that generate wealth over time, because if you kind of look at the situations like with even just things like tax laws, there's a lot of resistance that's against you over long periods of time. So it's really not that simple where, you know, somebody has the mentality of like they sell all their coins and they try to buy back later, because it's like you sell all your coins, and if you if you have to pay, you know, you pay taxes on that or whatever, you there's already a haircut there. If you mistime it, you could end up like getting fucked and like you sell too early. Like it's a huge, the idea like with risk also applies when you sell as well. It really does. And there's only, and that's why over time, consistently, you just don't beat the people that just never sell their coins. Like you will not ever beat them, period.
Look at the whale. Look at the whale
Yeah.
today. Like he hasn't sold any of his Ethereum he's had from the beginning. His like 150,000 Ethereum he's had from the beginning. He hasn't sold it. His Hex, he hasn't freaking sold it. He's still got his uni airdrop that is now $30+ a coin. He hasn't sold it. Like the dude does not sell his crypto. And look where he's at now. He is a whale in the space because of it.
Yeah, and that was 6 years ago. That was, you know, a lot of people in crypto can't even fathom 1 year. Like, why would you want to walk your Hex up for a whole year? It's like, well, if you look at the
not a
Ethereum
pleb.
guy, yeah,
It's
I think it's about
just-
knowing what you have. It's about knowing what you have,
Totally.
and what you have is fucking awesome. Better than gold. It's better than digital gold. I mean, it's like the digital store of value. I think for the next century, probably.
Yeah.
As long as we can keep this
Seriously.
internet up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Johnny Chaos says it.
No solar flares, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Johnny Chaos says like if you're selling Hex right now, you know you're selling like diamonds for the price of marbles, and same thing. I mean, yeah, you kind of really gotta factor like, oh, what am I trying to buy with these profits? I mean, you know, looking to crypto mentions the tax. I mean, that is a big haircut, and then you got the other factors on top. So the more that you can delay your gratification and gains, the better. You know, so.
I got one question that I think we're going to end this on. There will be a fork of ETH, and everyone wants to know, what should we call it? So, Brand, you first.
Fuck. Let's see here.
Fuck.
I like it.
It's gonna be a
All right,
minute.
look at the crypto. Solid.
And you first. Fuck.
Fuck shit cock. And Tourette's guys strikes again.
So what's a good
So-
name for it?
So I think I commented. I think Hexmac did this earlier. I for my input I did like 4 hex or whatever, kind of like 4x, kind of. But yeah, we were kind of tweaking the name around a little bit. But obviously,
4hex.
gotta come up with something cooler. I know some people were talking doing something with pulses, incorporating pulses into it, pulse chain.
Pulse chain.
That's Pulse. Yeah.
Hexerium. Yeah, okay. I like it. 4Q.
Hex
Four-
Ultra.
four-
That's pretty
4Q.
badass.
I like that.
Or Sammy Chica coin. Lol.
I like Brent's. I'll just call it Hexerium.
Hexerium.
I like Tobaru's thick
Thick
hex.
hex.
I think that's a winner.
Yeah. Well,
Pulse
I would
good.
I would probably be so bold as to say, what if we just call it Hex? And then Hex is just everything.
Yep.
Or is that too
Keep-
gay?
No, it's good. You just got to keep it's all about the name brand, right? Like keep the branding, keep it all the
Yeah.
same, just like Richard talks about. So it's fucking Hex. That's all it is.
There's only
More
one Hex,
fucking Hex.
boys and
Yep.
girls.
There can only be one. On that note,
All 81 of you, I'm going to go take a piss. Thank you, guys. It's been real. Wasabi, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
Ballet
Yeah, no
brand.
problem.
On
All right,
links.com
peace out,
/belly brand.
later,
Thanks, guys.
That's it.